I say this out of pure love, but some of you are not single because good men aren't out there. You're single because fear has been making your dating decisions for you, and it's been doing a terrible job, okay? Now, today, we're exposing it. If you're a woman in your 30s who has been dating for a while, like me, you have lived through enough to know that it is not easy. You've had your heart broken. You've invested in people who didn't invest back. You've had the talking stages that went nowhere, and the situationships that left you drained, or the relationships that looked right on paper and then fell apart anyway, right? Anybody been there? Just me? And somewhere in the middle of all of that, without realizing it, fear moved in and set up camp in your love life. And here's the thing, fear is so dangerous in dating, and it doesn't always show up looking like fear. Sometimes it looks like wisdom. It shows up looking like standards, like patience, like being unbothered. But when you dig deep for the root cause, it's really just self-preservation. And God has something to say about it. In 2 Timothy 1:7, he says, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and love and of a sound mind." That spirit of fear, it's not coming from him. So if fear has been driving your dating life, it's time to take back the keys. And here are 11 signs that you can tell if you've been letting fear in the driver's seat, okay? Number 1, you overanalyze every text response, the time, the word choice, or tone, looking for hidden rejection. You read his message 5 times, you screenshot it, you send it to your group chat. You notice when he puts a period instead of an exclamation point, and now you're spiraling. That is not discernment, it's anxiety. Fear turns you into a detective. And the problem with being a detective is your brain is wired to find what you're looking for. If you go in looking for rejection, you will manufacture it out of thin air. Faith invites you to take people at face value until they've actually given you a reason not to. Number 2 is you settle for situationships because at least it's something rather than risking asking for clarity. Now, a situationship feels safer than a no, right? At least in the gray area, you still have hope, right? But what you actually have is slow emotional bleeding. You're spending real time, real feelings, real energy on something that has no foundation because asking, "What are we?" feels too risky. But Proverbs 4:23 says to guard your heart above all else because everything you do flows from it. Staying in a situationship to avoid rejection is not guarding your heart. It's offering up unprotected and hoping for the best. Doesn't work. Number 3, the third sign is you pre-reject yourself, deciding he probably won't like you before anything actually happens. You talk yourself out of hope before he even has a chance to show up for you. You assume he's out of your league, that he's probably talking to someone else, or that someone else like him wouldn't go for someone like you. It's not humility, that's fear. Isaiah 43:4 says, "You are precious and honored in God's sight." If God sees you that way, you don't get to shrink back, yourself down before a man even has a chance to see the real you. Sign number 4 is you're more focused on not losing him than actually discerning if he's right for you. This one is so sneaky because it feels like you're just really into him. But there's a difference between genuine interest and fear-based attachment. When fear is running things, you spend so much mental energy keeping him interested that you completely forget you're supposed to be evaluating him too. Dating is not an audition, it's a mutual interview. Fear makes it one-sided. Faith reminds you that you have a say in this too, and your opinion of him matters just as much as his opinion of you. Number 5 is you avoid expressing real opinions or preferences early on so you don't scare him off. Guilty, right? You go wherever he wants you to eat. You say you're flexible when you're not. You downplay things that actually matter to you. You laugh off comments that actually kind of bothered you. You're not being easygoing, you're disappearing. And you cannot build a real relationship with someone who has never actually met the real you. The right man does not need a version of you with all the edges sanded off, okay? He just needs you. Now, number 6, I know I'm flying through these, but if you've pay attention just to see if you relate. But anyway, number 6, you stay in something that's going nowhere because leaving feels like starting over. You've invested months or maybe years, and the idea of walking away and starting from zero feels unbearable. So you stay and you rationalize it away. You wait for something to shift that's not shifting. Fear calls that loyalty. But Jeremiah 29:11 says that God has plans to give you a future and a hope. You cannot step into what God has for you if you're still standing in what He's already released you from. Leaving is not losing. Sometimes leaving is the best thing you can do. Number 7 is you confuse attachment with compatibility. You're drawn to him, but can't articulate why he's actually good for you. The feelings are real, but feelings are not always trustworthy on their own, are they? You can be deeply attached to someone who is completely wrong for you in life, in faith, or in your future. And if someone sat you down and asked you to name concrete reasons why this man is a good fit, his character, his faith walk, his vision for his life, and you draw a blank, that is worth paying attention to. Attachment is not the same as alignment. Fear will keep you chasing a feeling, but faith will help you choose wisely. Sign number 8, you catastrophize a first date that actually went okay instead of seeing where it goes. There was one awkward silence, or he mispronounced something, or the conversation maybe lagged for a few minutes. And now you're already deciding that it's never going to work and you're back to square one. Fear needs certainty immediately. It cannot tolerate the unknown. But Romans 8:25 says that if we hope for what we do not yet know, we wait patiently for it, right? Not every great relationship starts with fireworks. Some of the best ones begin quietly. So give it room to breathe before you shut it down. Sign number 9 is you'd rather keep things vague than have the define the relationship conversation because clarity feels scary. But here's the truth that nobody wants to say out loud. Clarity only feels scary when you're afraid of the answer. But vague is so much more expensive than one hard conversation. Vague will cost you time. It will cost you emotional energy. It'll cost you the ability to move on if that's what needs to happen. A woman dating for faith knows that her time is valuable enough to protect. So clarity is not pushy. Clarity is kindness. Sign number 11 is you're performing a version of yourself that you think he wants instead of just being yourself. Maybe you've studied his social media like us women tend to do, You know the kind of woman he seems to go for, and slowly, subtly, you start curating yourself to fit that image. Your humor, your opinions, your interests, all slightly adjusted for his approval. And now you're exhausted trying to maintain a character that isn't really you. Fear says to be whoever keeps him around. But Psalm 139 says that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. The woman God created you to be is not a liability in dating. She is the point. And the right man will choose you for you. Number 11 is you've made relationships an idol. Your peace depends on where things stand with him at any given moment. When a talking stage has enough power to ruin your entire week, when you can't sleep because you don't know where you stand, or when your mood is completely dictated by whatever his last message is, that is not romance. That's idolatry, okay? Matthew 6:33 says to seek first the kingdom of God, and then all these things will be added unto you. Your peace was never designed to live inside another person. When a relationship, or even the hope of one, takes the place that only God is supposed to hold, something is wrong, right? Fear in dating is not always loud and obvious. Sometimes it's quiet. But if you saw yourself in any one of these 11 signs today, I want you to know that awareness that you just received, it's a gift. You don't have to keep dating from that place of fear. Faith in dating is not about being reckless or ignoring the red flags or throwing caution to the wind. It is about trusting God and trusting that He sees you and that He's not withholding good things from you and that you are worth showing up for fully. It is about releasing the grip of fear and choosing to move with clarity, with confidence, and with the knowledge that the right person will meet the real you and choose you completely. Have you found yourself in any of these situations? Did any of these signs ring a bell for you? I know some of them did for me. I'd love to hear about your dating experience in the comments. Be sure to subscribe for more encouraging Christian content and remember that you are worthy, loved, and chosen. I hope you have a blessed week.